Hi everybody, it's Suzanne, and now I'm going to share with you guys the first stretching routine video that I plan to do. I'm going to have a little music going in the background just so it's not so quiet or you don't hear talking, my family in the background. You can kind of hear them through the house. Anyway, I'm going to show for most of these stretches varying degrees of how far you can go with it because some of my kids are super duper flexible and some of you guys aren't, and that's totally fine. So, you could just do each one to the best of your ability. All right? All right, let's get going. All right. We're going to start with arm circles. So we're going to stand our feet together and do backwards arm circles with both arms. Alright, and now let's go the opposite direction, forward circles. Alright, now we'll just do our right arm. Sometimes you can get a little bit more mobility in your shoulder doing just one arm at a time. Okay, so let's switch to the other arm. And now forward circles to really feel this in your shoulder blades. Alright, now pick arms out to the side. What I'm going to do is step up a little bit. Make it over. That's better. So alternate which arm is on top. Alright. Next we're going to do it here, standing small straddle. So your feet are just maybe a little bit bigger than shoulder width apart. And we're going to go to one side. Doesn't really matter which one. And hold it. Try to keep your legs straight. Keep your hips right over your feet. If this is easy to touch your foot, you can try to put your hands flat on the floor beside your feet. I can't quite do that. All right, now let's go to the other side. All right, now we're going to take both hands and put them in the middle. Make sure your legs are staying straight. Only go down as far as you can with straight legs. So if I can only go this far and keep my legs straight, that's fine. All right, now put our feet together, arms up. Then we're going to stretch down only as far as you can go without bending your knees once again. Try to breathe through it, and eventually your muscles will relax a little bit. You can go down a little more. If touching your feet is too easy, try to put your hands flat on the floor beside your feet. Alrighty. Alright, now we're going to sit down. And I'm going to take my shoes off so you can see my feet a little better. Alright, so we're going to sit on a pike. Alright, my legs are straight. My back is straight. This is a pike sit. Put your hands behind you, sit up tall. And you're going to point your feet and flex your feet. Point and flex. So flex, you pull your feet up as high as you can. And point, you put them down on the floor as high as you can. And try to keep your knees as tight as you can. And if you notice, see if I turn sideways, you can see. If I point and straighten my knees hard enough, it lifts my feet up. Same thing with if I flex hard enough and this goes straight, my heels come up off the floor. Okay. So we're going to go from pointing and flexing to pointing down and flexing up and circles. These are ankle stretches. So we're sitting up tall, pointing down, flexing up. All right, now we're going to go point, arms up. This is a pike sit. We're going to stretch forward. Try to keep your back as straight as you can. Stretch as far as you can go without your knees picking up. Okay, so stop when it gets uncomfortable. Remember, if you stop before it's uncomfortable, it's not going to help you get more flexible. If this is easy, try to push your hands out further. And really work on pointing your feet and keeping your knees nice and tight. Try to make sure you're holding these stretches with me or even a little bit longer. If you want to pause it and hold something longer, feel free. All right, now sit up, flex your toes, arms up. I want you to reach for your toes, and if all you can do is reach for them and flex at the same time, that's fine. If you can touch them or grab them, that is even better. But it's perfectly fine if you're just like this, as long as you're working hard and you can feel it. All right? So let's keep holding a little longer. Okay, now we're going to go to straddle sit. Now for this, you want your legs to be just as far apart as they can be and your legs be straight. If they're coming up like this, your straddle is probably too big. So we're going to keep our knees pressed down. All right, we're going to sit up tall. Take both hands up. I'm going to reach to one side. And you can start by just maybe putting your hand on your knee. And then go to here or here. We'll hold this. Make sure this knee and this knee are still on the floor. Make sure there's no daylight like that. Keep them pressed down. Okay, now another way you can hold this stretch for a slightly different stretch is if you put this arm in and this arm up over your shoulder, then now keep reaching, and you should feel it in your side as well as under your leg. And for my girls who are super duper flexible, remember your way that you make this even more challenging if you don't feel this here is to put this arm inside your leg. Try to put your shoulder inside this knee and then grab this foot with this hand. I can't quite get to that point, but I have a few little ones who can. All right, I'm going to sit up and go to the other side. And again, we'll start here. Make sure this stays nice and flat. If you're getting tired of pointing your feet, you can also flex your feet. It stretches a little differently, but it's also a good stretch. All right, now I'm going to switch to this one and point and really stretch out my side as well. So you should feel it under here and all the way down your side. All right, then sit up. And now we're going to go in the middle. Now on this one, I only want you to go as far as you can with your big toes off the floor. Remember, if you roll forward and your big toes touch, that's too much, okay? So knees should stay pointed up at the ceiling. And you can walk your hands out. All right, let's hold this a little more while I fix our music. I'm gonna have to find more music. Okay. Now we're gonna sit here and we're gonna go. We can sit up a little bit so it doesn't hurt too much, and we'll still point, flex, flex, point, flex. And notice if your legs are straight enough when you do this, your heels won't quite be on the floor. All right. Next is butterfly. So we're going to pull our feet in close as we can the first time. I like to then press my legs down like this. A lot of the kids already have their knees all the way down, which is great. Let's stretch forward as far as we can go with our feet in close to our body. All right, and then let's sit up. And you're going to now make a diamond, so push your feet out from your body and lay down. You should feel this a little bit differently than when your feet were in close. All right, next we're going to do wrist stretches. So get on your hands and knees and put your hands forward. I'll come a little closer. So my hands are forward, rock back and forth. If you don't feel it for this one, put your hands a little closer to your body. Just make sure your arms stay straight. All right, now take your hands and turn them backwards. And on this one, you can rock back and forth, or you can just rock back and keep the front, this part of your hands pressed down as you rock back. If your hands are flat and you sit your bottom on your feet and it doesn't hurt, then that means your hands are too close and you have to move them out. These stretches are super important for making your wrist feel good when you do lots of handstands and cartwheels and things like that. You can put pressure on your wrist, and they're good to do if you start doing the cartwheels and handstands and whatever else, and your wrists start to get sore. It's good to stop and do this stuff again, especially this last one, which is my favorite, where your hands are backwards. Try to keep your elbows straight. So you're trying to keep your arms nice and straight, hands flat, and just rocking back. You should feel it in your wrist as well as your forearm, which is this part right here. All right, then we're going to move on to cat stretch. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. You're going to press your armpits to the floor and your booty goes in the air. So your hands are shoulder width apart. So only this far apart. Try to press your armpits down and stick your booty in the air. This is going to help your shoulder flexibility for bridges later on. All right, now we'll go to seal stretch. This one's very hard for me because I have a hurt back. Okay, so you're going to try to squeeze your feet together, put your hands near your body, and look up at the ceiling. I'm going to let you guys hold this one longer than I do. After you hold this, you can also do the one where you bend your knees and look for your feet and try to make a donut. I can't do that one because it hurts my back too much. Let's see. All right, the last step is going to be a bridge. And I'm going to show this really quickly because we're almost at 15 minutes. I will show the first form, a tabletop, which is what my younger kids should be doing right now, unless you've done the other kind of bridge with me. So you can hold up like this and practice holding yourself up, lifting a leg, lifting an arm, putting a leg and an arm, things like that. All right. So then flip to your mountain, all right? And then for my more advanced kids who can do bridges, make sure your hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. Push up. Try to get your arms as straight as you can, and your goal is to have your shoulders above your hands. And your hands a little closer together than what mine were. I'm getting old and those things are kind of hard to do. But anyway, that is the end of our first stretching video. Hope you guys had fun, and let me know how it went.